So hello and welcome back to another week of exploring the wilds of Azeroth. As we started a couple weeks ago, we are still over on Kalmandor, and we are finally leaving the Desert Kingdoms, and we are traveling down into the lush jungles of Un'Goro Crater. Now, Un'Goro Crater is the playground of the Titans. It is the place where the Titan Keeper Freya performed a lot of experiments and observed a lot of Azeroth's development. And Un'Goro Crater is also a place where I've got so many absolutely fantastic memories of farming in Un'Goro Crater, not only for herbs and metal ore, but also on my leather workers. I farmed so much Devilsaur leather. Unfortunately, Un'Goro Crater doesn't actually have any housing. I mean, not that Blizzard has any real housing, but still, you know what I mean. No houses to hang out in, but you know what? Un'Goro Crater has caves, Un'Goro Crater has a few tented areas, and a very special secret that we will get to in a little bit. Now, this first place that we're going to stop is Marshall's Refuge. And Marshall's Refuge is a huge reference to the old TV show The Land of the Lost, which I vaguely remember watching as a kid. And back pre-Cataclysm, there were actually quests that you could get here. And this was also part of the giant Linkedin chain that had you running all over Azeroth to get all of Linkedin's items so that you could basically help out the Legend of Zelda in World of Warcraft. It was a fun quest chain. I never actually completed it. I feel like such a failure, but I did get up to the point where you had a little photograph of you and Linkedin. I think I still have it in my very first character's bank. Hopefully I didn't delete it, because I would feel really bad. But now really all that is left here is there used to be a rare elite, I think it was a Kodo, and its name was Dadgidna. Oh wow, I butchered that, didn't I? But anyway, that creature is buried there. I'm not even going to try that name again. And if you get blood petal sprouts for it, you get something. It's a repeatable quest. I don't actually have any blood petal sprouts though, so I can't help out the animal whose name I can't pronounce. Moving on though. Oh, also back in pre-Cataclysm, here in Marshall's Refuge, there were also two characters that were referencing Mario and Luigi, which I just thought was kind of funny, and I don't know that I picked up on it back when I was originally playing the game. Now, out here you have the tar pits, which are extremely inconvenient because if you jump into them and try to swim, you are really slowed down. You also have to watch out for all the tar lurkers, but you can swim in the tar. It's just, you get the debuff of you are attempting to swim in a tar pit, which I always thought was funny. A little bit frustrating because there's a lot of archaeology points that pop up in Un'Goro Crater, and most of them are huge, and most of them take you across all of the tar pits. But, you know, it is what it is. And you can see Just like in real tar pits, there have been a lot of creatures that have met their end in there. Now, scattered all throughout Ungoro Crater, you will find different colored crystals that are sprouting from the ground. I'm sure I will find one here any second now. I probably shouldn't have started talking about them before I found one. But they have to do with a pylon quest, and oh, now I see one. And you just have to gather, I think it's 7 of each type of crystal, and that is also a Land of the Lost reference, which I did not know. But you can see right here, you've got green power crystals, you have all of the various power crystals, and it's a lot of just gathering crystals. I can't remember what the pylons do, I just know that they do things. Now up ahead, as you can see, we have a giant devil soar, which they roam, and they were terrifying back in the day. And I died to them many, many times before I got a character that was high enough to kill them instead of them killing me. And then I skinned them, because devil soar leather is really good for a couple of high-level crafting recipes in leatherworking. You know, the things that you do for a transmog. Now up ahead, we're going to be entering the Roiling Gardens, where you can do a few little tasks for the Cenarian Circle. And if you happen to be on a Horde character, you can pick up the quest. It's a, I think, 30-day quest chain where you can get your own Venomhide Ravasaur. You pick up the quest from Morvek here, and it's 30 days of raising your own baby dinosaur that will then become a mount for you. I did do that on one of my Horde characters a very long time ago, so I do have that mount, which I would show you if I were on Onyx instead of Beryl. Unfortunately, I'm on Beryl, and even though she looks a lot like a blood elf, she can't use the Horde mounts because she's just not actually a blood elf. Also, I almost forgot, if we go up here to Fungal Rock, which we should be coming up to any time now, hopefully, there is a cave full of monkeys, well, gorillas, and there's a couple quest chains that are involved with them that are, honestly, they're a lot of fun. You have to go and infiltrate the gorillas and do all sorts of exciting things with them, but what I really want to point out is at the very back of this cave, if you are a hunter and you happen to like mechanical pets, there is a mechanical gorilla with a really, really interesting look to it at the back of the cave. But if you do decide to come after this gorilla, be aware that it scales with your character. This would not be an easy tame. I've seen a couple different strategy guides on how to tame this mob, and you might want to look them up because it is a really cool, really unique model, but not an easy tame, and I'm pretty sure from what I understand, freeze trapping it does not work. But it is right there. It is Amy 02, and it is a tameable pet if you are a Beast Mastery hunter with the robotic specialty. I think you get that from your class trainer, but don't quote me on it. But yeah, if you are interested in a very cool looking robotic pet and you look up the strategy guide, you can have Amy 02, which makes for a really unique pet. I don't see very many hunters running around with gorilla pets, especially not with mechanical gorilla pets, so, you know, little fun fact for you if you would like to go and farm that. Now, leaving Fungal Rock, I guess it is time to go and check out the more human-dominated areas of the Un'Goro crater. Also, if you are seeing this within a couple days of when I post it, Un'Goro Madness, which is a mini holiday in World of Warcraft, will be starting very, very soon. It's kind of a fun little micro holiday where you'll need a group, but if you group up with people, basically it's almost like just a ton of world boss dinosaurs running around in Un'Goro crater, wreaking havoc everywhere. And the cool part about it is you don't get much as far as loot drops from them, but what you do get is a dinosaur essence that you can then throw at other players, and everybody throws it at each other, and you end up with a bunch of 3-day-long buffs. Now, these buffs are not good in instances or PvP, but they are a nice little buff for questing or whatever. Plus, it tells everyone that you're awesome, because that is the buff, is maximum awesomeness. So if that is something you're into and you would like to do the micro holiday, especially because this year we have the Traders Post and there are Traders Tenders on the line. If you haven't already filled up your Traders Tendy bar, you can do the micro holiday and get some free Traders Tenders. Now, our first little area right here is the Mossy Pile. There's a couple of quests here. There's a very boring little tent that looks like somebody sat on it. And that's really about it right there. Also, if you didn't see it, I did have a video recently all about the incredible Maximilian of Northshire, who has his quest chain here in Un'Goro crater. In fact, he should be right about there. He is right there, and as you can see, Beryl has not done that quest chain, but that's okay because her daughter Donna did. So now we are going to head off and go to the middle here, where we have the Lava Plume Ridge, which is a big old volcano right in the middle of Un'Goro crater. Or Fire Plume Ridge. Good job, me. I can get the words right. And you'll have an interesting little quest chain that is involved with this, where you run around and you take a bunch of different readings trying to find the hottest spot on the crater. And eventually, by the end of the quest chain, you will come up to the top of Lava Plume Ridge and you have to kill Blaze Runner, who is a high-level elemental. He's quite the fight, but don't worry, you can persevere. I have faith in you. One thing I've always loved about Un'Goro crater is it's just, especially when you consider that it is completely ringed by desert zones, it's just such a refreshing change to come in here to this incredibly lush jungle. And if it reminds you of Sholazar Basin, that is on purpose, because as I said before, Un'Goro crater was the playground of the Titans, and it is where they did all of their experimentation back in ancient times. So that's pretty cool. And Un'Goro crater, Sholazar Basin, and I do believe it's the Jade Forest. Let me look that up really quick. I'm pretty sure it's the Jade Forest. All three of them were used by Freya, the Titan, as the places for cradles of life and experiments where they would observe and watch as the life on Azeroth was shaped. And it's really kind of cool. And like I said, there is one really cool thing that brings up just how linked Sholazar and Un'Goro crater are, and we will do that at the very end. So now right here we have Marshall's Stand. It is the only other real questing hub in Un'Goro Crater. And like I said, with the whole Land of the Lost thing, if you watched Land of the Lost, which you might not have, it's a very old show. In Land of the Lost, you had Will and Holly Marshall. So in World of Warcraft's version, we have Willadin and Hollyann Marshall. And they are here. They have established a nice little camp. You even have your own little inn. The innkeeper's kind of sort of sleeping on the job, but you know, details. And you've got a neutral flight point. Both of the flight points in Un'Goro Crater are neutral, open to Horde and Alliance, both equally. So that is good. Now over in this corner of Un'Goro Crater, you can see that the Silithid are ever present, just like in every other zone. In this area, we have a nice little Silithid hive. Would you call it a hive? I would call it a hive. So we're going to continue doing the ring. And like I said, I have got so many memories of basically flying laps of Un'Goro Crater and mining thorium, because you can make, well, if you're selling it on the auction house, you can make a lot of money selling thorium that you can get in Un'Goro Crater, and you can get some pretty good stacks of it just doing a couple laps of Un'Goro. And I would do that back in the day, not necessarily to sell in the auction house. I used it myself. All right, now we are almost done with our tour of Un'Goro Crater, but there are a couple other minor things to take a look at before we leave. Now, as I said, Un'Goro Crater was the Titan's laboratory, just like Sholazar Basin, and if you do the quest chain in Sholazar Basin that is given to you by the avatar of Freya, you can do something really, really cool. So we are going to be leaving Sholazar Basin, and, or not Sholazar Basin, we're going to be leaving Un'Goro Crater. I'm doing really good on the talking thing. Yes, I am. Definitely really good on the talking thing. All right, let me get up here to the Shaper's Terrace and see if I can find my waygate. Alright. Oh, there she is. It is Nambala. Okay, this is not where I needed to be, but that's okay. Let's say hi to Nambala, who is the Watcher. She says, there's nothing here for you, now go. You can't make me. Although I'm gonna go anyway. But basically, what I'm about to show you is there is a waygate that connects Sholazar Basin to Un'Goro Crater, and if you've done Freya's quest chain, you can unlock it and travel between the two. I just actually have to get to the right area. So give me a minute and we'll get there. Alright, here we are. Just had to get to the right Shaper's Terrace. You'll know that you're in the right spot because you will see the, I can't even pronounce that, Edimidian. we're gonna hope that I kind of sort of pronounce that right. And when you see him, you will know that you are in the right spot. You end up doing a lot of quests for Freya in Sholazar Basin and getting the stone that will power up the Edimidian. I'm still not sure I'm saying it right. And that gives you the right to use this waygate, which is really, really awesome, if it's still working. I'm going to cross my fingers that it is. Before we leave, I guess I should touch on the one thing that I didn't touch on, and that is, just like in the TV show Land of the Lost, Sholazar Basin is filled with dinosaurs, which if you saw my Maximilian of Northshire video, we were hunting dragons, which is what Maximilian thought that the dinosaurs were. But everybody cross your fingers that this works. and off we go to Sholazar Basin, which I just happen to think is the coolest little shortcut ever. If it's a glitchy one, but anything that gives you more portals just makes me happy. You know, from Sholazar to Un'Goro, from Un'Goro to Sholazar, bam, your own little shortcut. Like I said, all you have to do to unlock that is just do the quest chain in Sholazar Basin that is given to you by the avatar of Freya. And that is about it for Un'Goro Crater. There's probably a lot more that I could have touched on, but, you know, I am not the absolute best authority on WoW. I just know what I enjoy. And what I enjoy is exploring, and what I really enjoy is finding little details that you might have missed when you were playing the game yourself. If you can think of anything that I totally missed in this, drop it in the comments down below, because I always do want to learn. And until then, next week we will be moving on to Thousand Needles, an interesting zone that is possibly the most changed zone in all of World of Warcraft after the Cataclysm. But we will be doing that one next week, so thank you as always. Leave me a thumbs up if you don't mind. It does always make me smile, and I will see you next week. Say goodbye, Beryl.